Holy and merciful God and Father, please cleanse me and bless the study in Jesus' name. Amen. Hi everybody, this is Angelo Quinones and you reach I Am Ministries. I Am Ministries is designed to give you dependable and accurate answers that come straight from God's holy and inspired word, the Bible. Manishma, how's it going in Hebrew? Cheropoli is basically the equivalent of that, cheropoli in Greek. Now, we're looking at John 1:1, okay, the full Greek construction of it. But we're taking tours, okay, throughout the entire Bible to see what verses come into discussion when DCD, what do you mean DCD? When discussions, campaigns, and debates, okay, arise between us, born again children of God, Trinitarians, by the way, and the JWs, or any other cult or sect or religion that actually comes between people and the truth. Now, this actually gets in the way, of people's full understanding of the deity of Christ because JWs misuse this text. Now, we usually say Proverbs chapter 8, verse 30, but basically it really begins in verse 25, so let's check it out from the NASB, a very dependable Bible. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills, I was brought forth. That's a key. That's the key right there. Okay, to understand. That's the key to understand this passage. Who is the proverb writer? Okay, talking about. Okay, I. Who is the I there? Okay, was it logos or logos or was it wisdom? Now check this out. The hills I was brought forth. Verse 26. While he had not yet made the earth and the fields, nor the first dust of the world. Verse 27. It says, when he established the heavens, I was there. Okay, when he inscribed a circle on the face, no doubt panim is there in Hebrew for face, on the face of the deep. When he, okay, it says over here, when he made firm the skies above, when he, the springs of the deep became fixed. Now verse 29. It says over here, when he set for the sea its bounds, so that the water would not transgress his command. When he, okay, marked out the foundations of the earth. Now, verse 30, last verse we'll read. It suffice. Then I was beside him as a master workman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him. Okay, is that clear? But let's read verse, I believe, verse 25, because this is the brought forth deal. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills I was brought forth. Okay? All right. Jehovah's Witnesses, actually use this text or misuse it to their shame. They say that logos or logos, I don't care how you pronounce it, Omicron nowadays called Omicron, we'll just say logos for now. They say that logos is a creature. Okay, well, first of all, it doesn't say in this text. Let's go to John itself. Okay, Gospel of John. Let's go to it. Okay, it says. Let's just read how it says. Okay, what it says. Okay, Energe ein halagos kai halagos in prostante an kai theasena lagos. Okay, that's the North American style pronunciation or the biblical pronunciation. Okay, Energe ein ha logos. Kai ha logos in prostantheon. Kai theos ein ha logos. You know what I'm saying? Now, in modern Greek, it'll be like this. Energy in logos, ke o logos in prostoneo, ke theos in logos. Energy in logos, ke o logos in prostontheon, ke theos in logos. Okay? First of all, this will say energy, epoiesen hatheos tan lagan. In the beginning, God created the logos. That will be a dead giveaway that logos in that scenario that I painted for the JWs, for the darlings of the watchtower. Could be a creature then. Doesn't say that. Doesn't even say something like this. Anarchy, or anarche, to stay with the biblical pronunciation. Anarche, egeneta. Okay, all right, ha logos. In the beginning, the word became, or the word became to be, or the word emerged. Basically emerged, echoing what, in that scenario that I painted for the JWs, scenario number 2, it's kind of echoing a little bit, or actually, basically what verse 25 of chapter 8 of Proverbs says, doesn't it, though? Emerged, brought forth. Same thing. It's the same thing. Okay? Doesn't say something like this. In the beginning was the sun, enarche in ha huios, or enarche in ha angelos. In the beginning was the angel. Or even worse than that, because I could deal with the angel business. Okay? In the book of FSC, in the book of Ephesians, in the Hebrew New Testament, translated by G.G. Collier and T. Frey way back in from the Texas Recetas, way back in 1817. I mean, it said you can still get a copy of it at Amazon.com. It says that, if Ephesians or FSC 1:1, it says that Paul calls himself Malach. He calls himself a messenger. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he wasn't an angelic creature, flying to Ephesus. You understand what I'm saying? So I could deal with scenario number 3 and 4. I can't deal with scenario number 1, 2, and 5. Okay, 5 will be even worse than 3 and 2. Okay. In the beginning was Michael. Well, then I mean, the logos is a creature, according to that scenario and the other scenarios 1 and 2. You understand what I'm saying? Not to throw in the Hebrew version of of scenario number 1. Okay, all right, Bereshit bara Elohim hadabar. Dabar means what in Hebrew. Okay, found and recorded in Psalm 33, I believe, verse 6. Actually, Psalm 32, verse 6 in the Greek Septuagint, logos is there. Actually, in the dative though, to logo, that's in the dative case, singular masculine construction. By the way, pneumati is there, and we translate that by the Spirit, by the breath of His mouth. This and this and this and this. Well, I mean, why can't it say by the Spirit? He was raised by the Spirit. You see. That's in 1 Peter chapter 3, around verses 18 or 19. You understand what I mean? That takes care of that he was raised in the Spirit. I mean, I could deal with in the Spirit, but I mean, it could be translated by the Spirit. He was raised by. One of the key words of the dative case, pneumati, is the construction there. The same recorded in the Greek Septuagint. Pneumati found and recorded, like I said before, Psalm 32, verse 6. Well, let's get back to this. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 25 says that he was brought forth. I don't see that here. This would have been a perfect place, okay, all right, to explain to all the audiences, okay, all across the board, that Jesus was some sort of a creature when he was logos, or logos. That he's not a creature, okay? This Greek word "ein" is in the imperfect tense, okay? It's the aspect is linear, it's continuous, okay? It's unlike the aorist tense, okay? There's a completed action. Completed action. Okay, that's what the aorist tense is. For example, enarche epoiesen ha theos tan oranan kaitain gain. In the beginning, God created, okay, the heaven. It says over there in the singular, the heaven and the earth in the Greek Septuagint. You understand what I'm saying? It's a completed action. You understand? It's completed. This is in an aorist tense, pointing out the eternal, continuous subsistence of logos or logos, which we now know is God the Father. But I don't see that he emerged here at all. Okay, you understand what I mean? Now let's go back to the poetic writings of Solomon. Now, and I mentioned poetic writings because this is poetry. None of the apostles, okay, of the New Testament actually used this to point out that Jesus is creature. That's number two. Forget about it. Not even being a construction. Okay, John 1:1 echoing word for word. Okay, the construction found and recorded in Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. It's not even the same thing. Over there, it talks about creation. Okay, being completed by God, right? Anarche epoesen hathe as tanuranan kaiten gain is so much different from anarche ein ha logos or logos. Completely different. Completely different. And I think that's why John points back to Genesis to see the contrast, the strong contrast between the two. Okay? The things that were completed there in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, okay, are created things. Logos had no beginning nor end, neither father or mother. We see that recorded in Hebrews chapter 7, verse 3. So what are we to make of this? It says over here, well, first of all, logos is not here. Okay? All right, let's go to the Greek Septuagint. Okay, first of all. And let's look at Proverbs. Okay, Proverbs, hopefully it's the same chapter. Okay, Proverbs chapter, and I was looking at where are the dead, actually. Kind of a neat study. Necron, the dead. And I was looking to see how JW's twisted the text of Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 4 to their own destruction. But let's look at Proverbs now. Okay, Proverbs. And that's just a deal. And it's Proverbs right here. Proverbs, and let me see, there's 31 chapters. Okay, so it has to be, it has to coincide, right? So that's just it, because sometimes it doesn't. The Greek Septuagint sometimes doesn't coincide in the same chapter. I mean, it's different sometimes, right? Psalm 22 is like Psalm 23 or whatever the case may be. I mean, Psalm 45 is Psalm 44. I mean, that's just it. Let's look at verse 25. All right. Now, pro, it says over here, it says pro atu, okay, hore, it says edrasthenai, okay, pro de panton, okay, panton, says over here bunon, okay, gena, me. I don't see any logos here. There's no lambda, omicron, gamma, omicron, or whatever the case may be. Now, it says over here, okay, me. Does it say me over here? Let me look at the verse 25 again. It says before spro, right? And so I'm trying to, me. Okay, me. Okay, there's no logos here at all in the text. At all. Now, let me give you an indication. Not an indication, let me show you where logos is found and recorded. Okay, meaning the actual logos in the Greek Septuagint, meaning the second person of the Trinity, second person in numbering, not in class. There's no such thing as first, second class, third class. This is not the watchtower. This is not the other sheep, the anointed class. I mean, this is to throw that out. You understand what I'm saying? That's just it. Let's look at oops. Let's look at the Psalms. Okay, Psalms is right here. And let's look at Psalm 32. Okay, and we're gonna see logos here, or logos. Okay, and that's verse 6 though. Now remember, that's verse 33, actually verse 6 chapter, or Psalm 33 in you know, in a regular, in your regular Bibles. Okay, it says over here, lago, to lago tu kuriu. Okay, what is this? Ahoy? Ahoy, oh, okay, yeah, hoy. There's an nominative, plural article. Hoi uranoi, reo fesan, akai to, panumati. Okay, tu stamatas auto, pasa, he dunamis auton. But look at this construction over here, to lago, and that's in the dative case. You see the little tiny I under, and right at the six, right at the second word, right after the six. Remember, you read Greek from left to right. It's a W-looking letter. That's an omega. That's an O. That's an O, like in the word home. But you see the little tiny I underneath it. That's an iota subscript. Okay, it's called the iota subscript because it's written underneath. Okay, a letter that can only occur, under three letters in Greek. Okay, alpha, eta, and this one, omega. And this is pointing out the dative case. That's how you could point out this is in the dative case. Because first of all, the omega also, and then the iota subscript, which is the true case ending, okay, of the dative here. Dative singular, by the way. To lago. This is where logos is mentioned and recorded. I don't see this construction found and recorded in Proverbs chapter 8 verse 25. Let's go back to it. And by the way, before we do, we see over here, okay, to panumati, okay, and you can put in your English text, by the breath of his mouth, okay, excuse me, by the breath of his mouth, okay. And mouth is stamatas, actually, because of the cute marker. Stamatas, that's mouth in Greek. By the word, it says by. You could say by the breath of, and you say, and because it says mouth here, you can't say by the spirit of his mouth. So you have to translate that by the breath of his mouth. But everybody knows that's talking about the Holy Spirit. Okay. Just remember, again, this is what? Poetry. You understand what I'm saying? Poetry. But this is talking about the doctrine of how God created the world. Okay? Now, let me indicate to you why it cannot be, okay, logos there in verses 25 through 22 through 30 in chapter 8 of Proverbs. You understand what I'm saying? Let's get an English Bible over here. Excuse me, guys. Let's do this sweetly, neatly, and completely. Okay. Now, in order to do that, let's go to these verses of Scripture, verses 1 and 2. I mean, let's start with the foundation. What's wrong with the witnesses that they only use one verse of the Bible to actually come up with their conclusion? Verse 4, chapter 18 of Ezekiel, we just saw a little bit of it, a little glance of it, you know what I mean? Okay. Verse Verse 3 of chapter 17 of John. The Father is the true God. And they run off and say, oh, well, the only one that's the true God is the Father. Not looking at the verses where Jesus is called God and also the true God in 1 John chapter 5, verse 20. Okay? I'm saying, don't worry about Murray J. Harris. I mean, he's a Dino. Democrat in name only, you know what I'm saying? Or a rhino, Republican in name only. I mean, that's just the deal. That's what I call somebody like Murray J. Harris, you know what I'm saying? Wonderful scholar, but still, I mean, he's a Dino. How about Aquino? What's Aquino? Well, Christian in name only. Okay. Or how about Fino, evangelical in name only. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? I can't say eino, so I put the F in there. Just like the Greeks, they put like epsilon between the two towels and or like whatever the case may be to kind of pronounce something better. You know what I'm saying? All right. So let's look at this. It says, "Does not wisdom? Ooh, does not wisdom call and understanding lift up her voice?" Talking about wisdom in her hair. This is not logos. It's not logos. Let me read this again. This is quite clear. Does not wisdom call and understanding lift up? Okay, that's the Greek P. Her voice. Her voice. That's number one. Number two. It happens to be in verse 2. Now, on top of the heights, okay, beside the way, okay, where the path, when the paths meet, wait a minute, she takes her stand. So we're seeing here, okay, her, she, and her. Is that logos? Really? You telling me that this is logos? Oh, but this is poetry. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So far we have her, she, and her. I mean, come on, guys. All right, verse number 3. Beside the gates, okay, at the opening to the city, at the entrance of the door, okay, she cries out. Wait a minute, that's enough for me. I mean, she cries. Hershey. Come on, man. This is like Hershey. I just remember, just a chocolate bar. Hershey. There you go. Hershey. You ever had Hershey's before? You understand what I'm saying? Hershey, M&M's. They melt in your mouth, not in your hand. But Hershey. Hershey. Two Hershey's bars, by the way. One for you and one for the witnesses. You understand what I'm saying? Hershey. That's just the deal. Hershey. That's what I'm saying. I love chocolate, by the way, but this is ridiculous. Hershey. This is Claudius. This is not logos, guys. I mean, the doctrine of the watchtower is a bunch of chocolate bars. I think this is the King James only curse. I can't even speak. I didn't even speak about them yet. I mean, that's just a deal. I mean, maybe it was because, the Watchtower sold, a whole bunch of King James Bibles in the 1950s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't make this up, guys. Hershey. I mean, this is just a whole bunch of Hershey bars here. That's what I'm saying. Oh, but wait a minute, says Tony from Florida. He said to me, guys. He said when we were looking at this text, and at the time, I didn't really know Hebrew and Greek at all. I mean, not Greek. I'm talking about Hebrew. Sorry about that. Take that back. He said, he traced. Now let me look at this. Let me look at this with you guys. Okay, that's just a deal. I mean, I didn't even mention that Easter was in chapter 12 of actually the apostles, and I'm coughing. I didn't even mention that Jesus died before he went to the cross, and in verse 30, chapter 5, for the apostles. I don't know why I'm coughing so much. I didn't even mention that Easter is found in verse 4, chapter 12. I think I mentioned that before. I didn't even mention that the Holy Spirit is missing from verse 25 of chapter 4 of the apostles. Not to mention that beer, did Jesus touch a beer? I mean, we need a new translation. Forget about ASS being found and recorded in, various times. Okay. I think more than 50 times. I'm not sure about that number. Maybe 55 times. I'm not sure. But I know it's found in Isaiah chapter 1. I didn't even mention that and I'm coughing. Imagine if I mention them. But, All right. So let's look at this, guys. Okay. No, let's look at this in the let me see what we have over here. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 1. So let's check it out. Let's just settle the issue. Let's settle the scar. Okay. Does not, it says over here, wisdom. Okay, let's check out the word for wisdom, okay? Understand? Now, do I have this magnified, though? Let me see. Yep. That's just the deal. What's the word for wisdom? Well, the word for wisdom is, okay, marom. Marom. Okay, you understand what I mean? Marom. Okay, that's all. That's okay. Well, actually, wait a minute. Did I get the right one? Well, I'm sorry about that, guys. So take that back. Okay, let me see on the top. Wait for a second. What? Okay, what is this? Oh, verse 2. Sorry about that because it jumped. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, wisdom. Okay. Sorry about that. Just completely jumped. Now, wait for a second. Let me see if I could do this here. Wisdom and here. Sorry about that. Okay, now now the word here, okay, for wisdom, okay, is okay. Wait for a second over here, guys. Let me just make sure that I put this like this. Okay, let me see. Okay, right there. Good. That's good. So the word for wisdom, okay, is, okay, this is hard to pronounce. Chachma. Okay? Chachma. Okay? That's the word for wisdom. I'm going to record it here. Okay? Okay? Chachma. Okay? 2 syllables. Let's check it out. First of all, under 2,451, you got the lexical form. Okay, so you got a chet. Okay, it looks like a hey, but it's a chet. You know, there's no slit there. It looks like a tau, by the way, but you just got to practice reading these Hebrew letters, you know, the chet, the tau, and the hey, because they look similar to each other. Okay, now this is a CH, this is a guttural. Okay, chet. Now you have a comment, a T-looking thingy underneath it. That's an A class, like in father. So you have cha. So just, you know, what you do, if the consonant is not silent, you pronounce the consonant. Okay, so you have right here. And then since you have an A class underneath it, it looks like a T, doesn't it though? I'm right, okay, under the 1 in 51, in 2,451. Okay, so I'm right underneath that, and then I'm right underneath the Hebrew consonant, chet. Now, there's a T-looking thingy, that's a kametz. Kametz, that's an A class, like in the word father. So it's a cha. Now, then it's a cough. It looks like an opposite side C. But it's actually transliterated into a K. Okay, so when you see opposite side C, okay, you can pronounce this, okay, according to, you know, the word, okay, like a K sound, k. Okay, so it has a schwa underneath it, so that's indicating that this is one syllable. This is all one syllable put together. Okay, hak, hak. Okay, so you have the cough and the schwa underneath it. Now the second syllable consists of two two consonants plus a vowel. Now the first consonant in the second syllable is mem. That looks like a half M anyway. I'm underneath the H and the 2. Okay, and that's mem. That's like a half a M. So just remember it like that. It has a M sound, like in the word Mary. And then you have the T-looking thingy. That's an A class again, kametz. Okay, ma. So just pronounce it like this, ma. The hey, and it looks like the chet, doesn't it? Doesn't the first letter look like the second letter a little bit? Yeah, doesn't the first letter look like the last letter, I should say? But the last letter has a little slit to the upper left-hand corner. You see that little slit, that little opening? That's the only way you can tell these two letters apart. The first letter is a chet, and the last letter is a hey, and that's the only way you can tell that this is an H, the hey, the Hebrew hey, which means behold, by the way. Hakma. Now that means wisdom. Okay, tagged by, 2451. All right, now that's just the deal. Okay, wisdom. Now, doesn't wisdom, it says over here, let me see. It says over here, does not wisdom, cry out. So there's no her yet. Okay, understanding and lift up. Okay, and let's check it out. Okay, all right. Her voice. I already went through this. Let's go through it again. Let's check it out. Now, when I was talking to Tony from Florida, charming guy, very nice dude. I mean, we had like 20 debates and campaigns. I think some of the best debates that we had was in Soul Sleep, I should say, on the Faces debate, meaning the Trinitarian debate, which actually happened in a conference call atmosphere. Okay, Martin was the moderator actually of that debate and campaign, and then the other one was the Scene debate, a very good debate based on John chapter 1 verse 18, and there were other debates and campaigns. The other discussion, I don't know if I have this recording though, but the other discussion was based on this. Now he told me, well, I'm tracing this Hebrew word, kol. This is a lexical form. Remember that kol. Now remember, it's all the way down to the bottom right. Okay, kof, which is a Q in Hebrew. It looks like a P, doesn't it? But it's called kof, not cough. That's the other letter that looks like a C. Remember, in the word wisdom, that's cough, like like I've been doing for the whole study. But this is kof, okay, and this is a Q, and it's translated into a Q. You see that Q over there? Okay, K-O, right? I mean a Q-O, I should say rather. So this is transliterated into a Q. Okay. Now, so that's the kof. Now, what's the second letter? The second letter is a vowel. It's acting like a vowel. Okay, and it has a little tiny dot over it. When you see that, that's an O. That's an O class. Okay, that's an O class in Hebrew. Holem. Okay, that's the Holem O class. Okay, so basically, I mean, in Hebrew, all these dots that you see, not all, I shouldn't say all, I take that back, but most of these dots, dashes, and strokes are, for the most part, vowels. I mean, so if you're looking at a one dot underneath a Hebrew consonant, it's an I class. If you're looking at one dot above a Hebrew consonant, okay, all right, it's an O class. If you're looking at a dot besides a Hebrew letter to the left hand side, it's a U class. Okay, if you see three dots like on a domino piece, that's a 3. You're looking at a U class as well. Okay, if you're looking at a T looking thingy, that could be an O or an A class, mostly an A class, right? If you're looking at a dash or a minus sign looking thingy underneath a consonant, you're looking at an A class like in the word hat, though. No distinction in modern Hebrew between the Pathach and the Kametz, those two A classes that have distinct sounds in biblical Hebrew. And in modern Hebrew, it's just ah, like in Father, all across the board. There's no ah and ah. It's just ah. You understand what I'm saying? But this is biblical Hebrew. Now, so you have the kof, which is a Q, the wow, which is acting like a vowel, and the only thing making a sound is the Holem O class above it. Right? So you have call so far, and then they have it over here, QO, right? And then and then they have now they have the they have the textual form transliteration. So don't pay attention to all of the letters there in the transliteration. Okay, so that's just it. Now, the lexical form is just kol. It's not kola. Okay, I'm going to talk about that in a second. Now, lamed, is the L in Hebrew, so that caps off the word. Kof, wow, or vav, right, with an O class. Okay, second letter there. Could be a W, or could be a V. Okay, either wow or vav, right? Holem O class above it, so that's kol. And then how you get kol? Well, just pronounce the L at the end of this Hebrew word, and you got kol. Like you're digging for coal, right? Digging for coal. Now the lexical form. Now this is when you trace it, and let's do that now, like the witnesses will do. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Let's trace this Hebrew word. Now, when you're tracing this Hebrew word, okay, 6963, you go to, and you're going to see coal in your lexicon, either Mounson's Complete Expository Dictionary of Old and New Testament Words. I don't know if Vines has it because Vines is incomplete. Brown Driver and Briggs probably is going to have it. You understand what I'm saying? It's just as big as a house, that Hebrew, they're going to have all the constructions. Okay, not just cola, but different constructions. You understand what I'm saying? Just like chadim, few from echad. You understand what I'm saying? They're gonna have all these, panim will have different constructions. You understand what I mean? And that's just the deal. So I mean, now this word means sound, voice, but it doesn't. But it doesn't say her voice though. So what do you do when you're talking to a JW? Well, just tell them that listen, this is coal is the lexical form. It's not the form in the text. Okay, of what's that? Verse 1. Let's check that out. Verse 1 of chapter 8 of Proverbs. That's not. Listen, coal is not. It's there in the sense that that's the word, but the form is different. Well, they'll say to you, well, okay, how do you get her voice? Okay, remember the Hershey bar, Hershey. Well, how do you get her? How do you get it? Well, in Hebrew, okay, and you get this in modern Hebrew with the tau, Um, now, a hey or an H can make a word feminine. What am I talking about? I'll give you an example. Okay, you have a couple of different words that mean man in the Bible. Okay, in the Hebrew Bible, Adam. Okay, can mean man, right? Ish means man, right? But how do you say woman in Hebrew? Well, what are the ways? Okay, Isha. The ish means man. But if you put a hey or a h at the end of the Hebrew word, it becomes Isha, and there you have it. Now it's the same thing for kol. You have kol as a lexical form, voice, right? Or sound, or whatever the case may be. But if you put a hey, like this text has, a biblical text has, you understand what I'm saying? Let me see if I got rid of it though. Her voice. Okay, let me see over here. Okay, I didn't get rid of it. I just minimized it. Why did they translate this word into her voice? That's not what that's not what the lexicon says. Well, but because the text of Hebrews chapter 8 verse 1, okay, the Holy Spirit moved, okay, this writer, okay, Solomon, to write, okay, down a construction that means in English, her voice. How did they do it? Well, you see it right there. It's different. Look at the bottom word, kol, lexical form. But look at the Hebrew word that's in the text. Okay, right under the words her voice. It's a different form. You see, there's no hey in the lexical form. There's a hey in the contextual form. I call it. Okay, cola, like Coca-Cola, cola, cola. You see, it's different from coal. Not the meaning the actual. It means voice still, but it's in the feminine construction. You understand what I'm saying? In the feminine construction. So they just added a hey. They added a comments also. They added an A class underneath the L, but they added a hey to make it feminine, like in the word Isha. Isha means woman. Ish means man. You see, it's as simple as that. That's all you got to do. Now, this is the case all across the board when you're talking about other words, okay, in the Bible. The lexical form will mean something, and then it'll have a her or she in the text. Now, it has over here, okay, on the top, let me see, just trying to find, okay, see if I can find something else, the word a she and a her, you understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, okay. She takes. It says over here. She takes. Okay. Okay. She takes. It says over here. Her stand. Let's look at this. Let me see. Let's look at this. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? To take one's stand. To take one's stand. Well, what's the Hebrew word? Okay, let's check it out. It says over here, okay, natab, natab. That's a noon with an A class. Okay, the comments. Okay, na, and then you have the TS Hebrew letter Sade with the Pathach A class. Okay, that's just like a hyphen. So you have two different A classes here, right in this word. Okay, you have the T looking thingy, which is an A class like in father, and you have like a minus sign in math, which is an A class like in the word hat. You see that? But there are two A classes, it's just different in biblical Hebrew. And you have the B here, bit. So you have noon with an A class, Sade with an A class, and bit, which is the Hebrew B. It can be a V also. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just the deal. But it doesn't say she takes her stand or whatever the case may be. So what do they do with this Hebrew what in the text? When you want to say she takes her stand or whatever the case may be, what do you do? Well, let's look at it. Okay. So the contextual the lexical form is natsab. Okay, natsab. You understand what I'm saying? And we already saw that when we poked the bear. Okay, noon with the kamets, sade, which is the ts. It looks like a y, doesn't it? Though I'm right underneath the 2 in 5,324, right all the way to the bottom. You see that? The middle Hebrew letter, that's a sade. It looks like a Y, doesn't it? It's not a Y. It's a sade, and it's a TS letter like in the word sports. Okay? Sports. Okay? There's a Greek letter there's a PS. Psi. It looks like an anchor. Okay, it's a weapon in the false god's hand as a trident in the hand of the false god Poseidon, the god of the sea. You understand what I'm saying? It's the trident. If you ever saw the martial art movie Blood Mask Avengers, I mean they use tridents all over the place. It looks just like that. Okay, but this is natsab. Okay, and that means to take one stand, to take a stand. But you see her stand. Okay. Well, that's a different. You see, they're using one more consonant in the text. You see that? Look at the bottom. You have the noon, the sade, and the bit, right? But look at the Hebrew word below the word stand. You have the noon. Remember, you read Hebrew from right to left. You have the noon, the sade, the bit, but you have a hey there. That's where you get the word hey. Here. They did the same thing, just like in Isha. They put a hey right to the end of this Hebrew verb, right? They added a kametz, okay, a class, on the bottom of the bed here. They did the same thing, but this is actually this is Nitzaba, actually. I forgot there's an I class underneath the noon there in the contextual form. Okay, there's an I class underneath that, okay? That's why they have, let me see if I can get this more perfectly for you guys. That's why they have the NI. And the dot underneath the S is just telling you that's a TS letter, okay? I wish they could just write it out. What's the point in adding the point? But I mean, that's what they do in transliterations that have different rules and stuff like that. You understand? Different designations. You understand what I'm saying? But you have the noon. Okay. I'm sorry, Obed. I gotta let you go, buddy. Wait for a second. Okay, so Wait. So, I'm gonna have to let him go. I love my friend Obed, but but you know what I'm saying? He just messed up my steady. Okay, so let me just text him over here. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And wait for a second. Okay, so let me just do this. I wish I could put like airplane mode, but I don't know if I can. Well, where's the airplane mode over here? Airplane mode. I wish I could put it, but I can't see it. My eyesight, that's the thing. I wish I could put airplane mode, but I can't see it though, guys. Well, anyway, you get the gist of it, guys. Let me just before where's this thing? Let me see. If it's still a block, then it's still recording. Okay, it's still recording. Thank God. That's an ex-Jehovah's Witness, actually, born again Christian, Obed Vargas, who's texting me. But you get the idea, guys. Okay, the idea is, okay, that, and let me get the Hebrew word again, okay, because I don't want to just break off like that. Let me see where I was at, because at least I could give you this Hebrew word. Okay, let me see over here. Verse 2, and let me see if I can find it though. Okay, let me see if I can find it. I lost my place. Oh, okay. She takes her stand. Now I said, okay, it means to take a stand, but the she comes from the context, the contextual form. Okay, nitzaba. Okay, nitzaba. Nitzaba. That's and the hey is making this verb in the is putting this word in a feminine construction. Okay, you understand what I mean? In a feminine construction. Okay, so nitzaba and kola. Just remember nitzaba and kola. Kola means her voice, and nitzaba means okay her stand, or she takes her stand. Okay, I have to go, guys. I have to check out my baby, guys. Sorry about that. Love, love baby. Love. Sweet daddy, love. Sweet daddy, love. Sweet love. Sweet daddy, love. Okay? Love, sweet daddy. Sweet daddy, love, okay? Okay, hello? Daddy, love. Daddy, love. Yeah. Love, you love, sweetheart. Okay. Milky, my love. Milky, love. Milky, my love. Okay. Milky, my love. Milky. Okay, my love. Okay. Now come over here, my love. Okay, my love. Daddy, share my love. Daddy, share. Give me milky. Okay, my love. Okay, my love. Milky, my love. That's my baby Anna Devine. I'm sorry, guys. She was just talking a little bit. She just woke up. This is Angelo Quinones. To God the Father, to the Lord Jesus Christ, and in the Holy Spirit. God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. And that means that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were very much alive. Okay, that Jesus said those was. I better go and give my baby milk, guys, okay? Okay, thank you for your understanding. Thank you. Please subscribe to my channel. And also give me a thumbs up. And please leave a comment on the screen, okay? Okay, remember, cola. Okay? Cola. That's just the deal. Her voice. Thank you.